We are making a homemade jelly cranberry sauce that is sure to be your new favorite. Today we are going to revisit a classic, which is the cranberry sauce, but we are going to make it jelly version because you know most people in your household prefer the canned jelly kind. I love a whole cranberry sauce, but I always have to buy the jelly kind and have both on the table because there's definitely lots of people in our family that prefer it, or if you're like me, you like both, okay? There's nothing wrong with buying it at all. But when you can make it from scratch and it is infinitely more delicious, you're gonna want to. And it's very, very easy to do. We will not be dealing with any thermometers, like handy thermometers. We will not be using any fancy equipment. We're not gonna be using any like pectin or any of that because we're gonna use the natural pectin in the cranberries. All you're gonna want to do in the first stage is gonna take your fresh cranberries, make sure you wash them and rinse them. To that, you're going to add some water. Not as much water as you would think. You really don't want to add too much water, otherwise it's not going to firm up. Now, because I don't want any floating spices or any floating zest to this, I kind of want it to be very, very smooth, not a bit of graininess. I'm gonna add a cinnamon stick rather than a pinch of ground cinnamon. I'm gonna add 1 stick, and then rather than orange, like grating the orange zest, I'm going to take just my vegetable peeler and take a few strips of just the orange part because that's the good stuff. The white stuff is bitter. You're gonna take about 2 to 3 pieces. I'm gonna take 3 pieces. That will give you a beautiful, okay, 4, because I really like it. That will infuse the cranberry sauce with that beautiful citrus and cinnamon. It is just fantastic. Not overpowering either. So it's not gonna overpower the actual taste of the cranberry sauce. Put that on your stove. Now that is going to go on medium heat. Once they start popping, I'm going to put a timer on. I'm going to crank the heat down to medium low, and I'm going to let them cook for about 7 to 8 minutes. Once it's there, I will show you the next step. That is what you want it to look like. And I know what you're thinking. You are thinking to yourself, that is way too thick and it's never going to work. But you're gonna have to trust me. At this point, I'm just taking it off the heat so it doesn't splatter at me. I'm taking out the cinnamon stick and the orange zest that has done their job, little orange peels that have done their job. This smells already absolutely insane. Now you're gonna have to take this and pass it through a food processor. I know it's a bit tedious, I know, but it is what it is, okay? I can't make magic happen. You want jellied, you don't want whole cranberries? This is a non-negotiable step. What can I say? You're gonna put that in your food processor. I find that a food processor just works better than a blender because I don't want a full puree. I just want it to be very coarsely chopped, like that. Almost a puree, but not quite. I'm gonna put this back in. It's really thick at this point. And now this is the part where you're gonna have to trust the process, get every single last bit out of the food processor. I'm actually gonna go and grab a spatula. Hold on, because I just wanna make sure that we don't leave any cranberries behind, you know, because leaving cranberry behind would be like leaving flavor and goodness and more eating opportunities behind, because then I don't get it all in my belly. Now, to this, you're gonna go ahead and add your sugar. The reason why I add sugar at this point rather than from the very beginning is because what happens when you take sugar and you heat it? It melts, right? Sugar just dissolves into a liquid. If I do that, then it's too liquidy to pass it through the food processor without liquid going everywhere and needing to do 2 batches. So you see, I'm looking out for you. I don't want your kitchen to be a mess. I don't want you to be frustrated. And I don't want that for me either. So to this very thick puree, look at it now because you're gonna think there's no way that's gonna work. To this very thick puree, you're gonna add your sugar. And this is going to liquefy and then just become really lovely and saucy. And you're gonna cook this for about 8 to 10 minutes on medium low. You see it's already starting. The heat is already starting to liquefy that sugar. And if you look at it now, it already looks different. See that? You can already tell where this is gonna go. So let that go on low for about, I would say 8 minutes or so. And then we move on to the next step. That looks perfect. I removed it from the heat. And now I'm going to pass this through a very fine sieve. If you don't have a really fine sieve, you can just go ahead and line it with either coffee filters. Yes, it works. It just takes a while for you to pass that through, or like a cheesecloth. I never have cheesecloth on hand because I hate cleaning it. So I'm just gonna use my very fine sieve, and you'll be really, really shocked to see how much comes out of this. And like, I don't know if you can start to see it, but like it is amazing. It is amazing. You'll definitely get like the equivalent to like 1 can. And I'll show you what that looks like. I just take my spoon, and you kind of want to, if you can see what I'm doing, I'm like pressing my puree against the sieve. It just needs a little bit of help getting it through. And I know it's tedious, and I know you can buy a 2 for $4 around this time of year, and you know, why wouldn't you? But it is so wonderful. And look at this beautiful puree that you get. It's just so luxurious and smooth and beautiful. But like I said, it just takes a little finessing, you know? So once you do that, I'll tell you the last step. That is perfect. This is all you should have left in terms of pulp. The rest should be smooth and beautiful. And now, because you may want it to just look like cranberry sauce, you can take any leftover cans you want. I'll show you mine in a second. Or small mason jars. It'll work just fine. I'm just gonna grab this. And what I've done to my mason jar, look how smooth and beautiful. I brought one that's a little bit too small, but this will fit like a nice size cranberry. What I did, it is so good. It is so good. It's ridiculous. What I did was I took a little avocado oil on a paper towel, just like with my tongs, and like rubbed it in there so that it gets nice and loose. And now you want to just pop that into the fridge. I leave it in there overnight. A few hours will do. I have one that's ready. One at the ready. I literally used a leftover can, and I poured it in there. You're gonna take your knife, run it around the edges, okay? And then you're gonna say a prayer. And then you're just gonna, you'll hear it, just give it a second. You'll hear it. Start to loosen. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's very exciting to me, okay? It's very exciting. And then you slice it like you would regular cranberry sauce. These cranberry sauce, look how beautiful. And this is why, by the way, it is just like perfection. I know that because I'm good like that. But this is why I didn't want to use any ground cinnamon or any orange zest. I wanted to use the whole stick. I'm doing it this way so that you can see perfectly. Because I wanted the puree to be really smooth. I wanted it to look just like that. And I'm telling you, listen, I'm a cranberry, like with a spoon kind of gal, and there is no shame in my game. It's like, game over. Game over. That is spectacular and delicious and easy and fun to make. And I feel like it's also the kind of thing that like feels really special. Like, oh, I made that, you know? But it's delicious and you're going to love it. Go to laurainthekitchen.com for the written recipe. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.